Welcome to Smart Business Show for September 26th, 2018. So back on September 15th, I ran my second 50K race, ultra marathon, what they're called, because I guess just marathon isn't good enough. And they're actually most often, very often, in either pretty harsh conditions. So there's one called Badwater, which runs like through the desert. And then this one had 2,400 meters of climbing in it. So a lot of them are through the mountains, through the forest, stuff like that. So I went into this, and this year my plan was to do better than last year. Unfortunately, in July, I fell off a cliff and messed up my ankle quite badly. I couldn't walk for 2 weeks. I'd be on crutches. Then I could barely walk, and I could really only run in the last, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So what I did on this race is I basically had one single 27-kilometer training run around a local lake, which destroyed me, which just the angles of the trail were really hard on my ankle. And so I had to walk in a lot of the last end of it. That was like my whole training for this race, really. Aside from some other test runs up to that point to see like, how did I do? Could I run this? Could I not? And a bunch of the times at the beginning, I couldn't run it. I couldn't run 6K flat on a local trail. So that's a bit what business is like sometimes, though. So my plan this year, I said, was to, coming into the race, to have lots and lots of like, more than 50K days where I'd run like 30, 40K in the morning, and then I'd go around like another 15, 20 at night. Or run Friday night 15, 20, 30, and then run Saturday morning at a quick 10 and take the kids hiking all day. So needless to say, that did not happen. My plans did not go, and that happens in business too, right? I was just talking with a client who launched a product recently, and they were really happy with my work to make the site faster, but at the same time, they're disappointed because the sales didn't come like they wanted. Unfortunately, I've seen that for many times as well. I've seen it lots of times. In fact, it's very easy for us to say like, oh, there's only, there's 1 million people who could buy this. And if I capture 1%, oh my goodness, I'll be rolling in the cash. You're lucky if really, that 1% even knows about you. And out of that 1%, that's really who's going to buy from you many times. Also, sometimes in work, you have sucky spots. I talked a while ago about having a really low time earlier this year where suicide was fairly seriously contemplated. I still have supports. I'm still talking to people about this, and I'm still being open about it, as open as I can, because I found that talking has been really helpful. So same thing happens in these long races that I do, right? I spent 10K. There's one, I was going to call it Sunshine Valley, but that's totally not it. And there's one trail, and it's got like two false summits, and then it kind of, it's trending down, which you like go down and then back up, and then down and back up again, and down, and it's a little less, like your total height is lower every time, but you're still climbing like a lot, and it's like in that kilometer 40 in the race, like they're not, it's really tiring, and you keep being like, seriously, another one, another hill. And there's these jokers who put out signs, they're like, last one, and then it like blows out as you're just cresting the top, and it's like, sucker, one more, and there's actually like 3 more. So anyway, Skyline Trail, that's what it's called, Skyline Trail in Manning Park. And so what I adopted, I suppose, in this is I honestly kept thinking, well, I had Hamilton going through my head a lot, and The Greatest Showman, but kept thinking of Dory too, that just keeps swimming water. And that's a lot of what we have to do in business. There are going to be low times. There are going to be times when everything feels like nothing is going your way whatsoever, where you just keep pushing, and you're like, look, and you're like, oh, there's another hill to climb, great. And you get up and you're like, sweet, we're going downhill. Oh, there's another hill to climb. We are not out of this yet. Oh, and there's another one. We are still not out of this, and we're still not out of it. And one of the things that you get told when you start running ultras is that you just keep moving. There's no stopping. You just keep moving. I even talked to, partway through the race, I talked to one guy, and he had been far ahead of me going down this one chunk of the mountain. And then we got to the aid station, and he was still sitting there. I got in and got out before him, and then he finally caught me because he was faster. And I was like, what happened, man? Like, he's like, I just sat down. I couldn't stand back up. It was just so much mental effort. So something I don't do unless I'm changing shoes or something, I don't sit down. I just keep moving. I get air. I get the food I want. I didn't even take a knee. I kept my legs like upright. I bent down to pick up the stuff I wanted, and then kept moving. And that's something to remember for yourself too. You just need to keep moving. Make the best next step that you can. Stop and evaluate all the information you have about where you're going, what your business is. Make the best next step that you can. Keep making those steps. Keep making them. Keep doing better at what you want, where you're going to go, and make the best next step. And honestly, don't be afraid to call it if you're running your own business. My goal was to finish, not do the speed like I thought I might be able to earlier this summer. But I also knew that at 27K, which is pretty close to the car again, it's kind of like a figure eight, so you come back very close to your vehicle, that if I had stepped wrong with my ankle, my race was done. I was just going to pull. I got there, my ankle felt great still, so I kept going. But you got to be willing to pull. Got to be willing sometimes to pull. And by pulling, I mean like go get a job. Just because you said you were freelance once doesn't mean that you're going to stay there all the time. I have, and I am still occasionally in talks with different people about becoming employed again. And that is not a bad thing. It took me a while to say that to people because I felt like I'd built this brand of, oh, I'm a freelancer. I'm always going to be this way. But there are a few companies out there that the way they structure their work would allow me all of the things I love about freelance, all the time freedom, getting to see my kids, stuff like that, and very few of the drawbacks, and a salary. So there are good benefits to that. But don't be afraid to pull your own business. Say, oh, this isn't working this time. My friend Jason, the first business he ran, he pulled, it didn't work, and then the second one he came around and he's doing stellar at it now. You can find Jason at rezz.com. He's doing great now, but it took that round again. And he's even said his wife at one point, just before they were getting married, he was like, I gotta stop this. He was not having a good time. And she said, no, you can do it. You can do it. And that's really what you want. So that's what you need to do, right? And that's, I forget how many years they've been married now. It was years ago now, and he's continuing to truck along. He had that support behind him. Now, one of the things I talk about in my latest book, The Art of Focus, is those supports. And I talk a little bit more about my low time and the steps I've taken to continue to get through it. So if you're struggling with that, if you're struggling with your business, with making those next steps, that's actually what The Art of Focus is about. It's about making those next steps, coming up with your idea, planning where you want to go, controlling your time so that you can get there, and then really vetting your ideas in the market so that you know what's going to work. So if you're struggling with that, go check out the book, The Art of Focus. Have an awesome day.